Hi everybody and welcome back to
The Movie House.
And today we're going to talk to you about a couple old movies. Alien from 1979 and its sequel Aliens from 1986. The first movie was made by Ridley Scott.
Yes, and it stars the fantastic Sigourney Weaver, who, little trivia here, I believe her real name is Susan, and she thought that was too ordinary. She wanted a unique, extraordinary name, so she gave herself the name Sigourney. And I was maybe 14 or 15 when this movie came out, and I actually saw it in a very crowded movie house.
And I was probably one of the few people who didn't see Alien in the theaters. I actually saw Alien after I'd already seen Aliens in the 80s. So my perspective might be a little skewed based on that. But overall, Alien, on rewatching, holds up pretty well.
Yes.
For a 40-something-year-old movie.
Which is hard to believe that it's that old, but fantastic movie, great cast, great story, very unique, outer space adventure, which you come to think of it, Star Wars had just come out a couple years before.
That's right.
And to be able to compete with that and do well is pretty amazing.
Well, actually, that's one of the reasons they made this movie was because Star Wars did so well. So the other studios are like, well, maybe space movies can make money. So here's a horror story set in space, essentially.
Yes.
And it really blew the lid off the theaters all across the country. It was really very, very popular because it was so unique, a combination of sci-fi and horror.
Yes. It was definitely scared me.
Yeah. And most of the effects hold up really well in spite of how old it is. I have to say, though, the alien, to a modern eye, does look a little too much like a dude in a suit. But they knew that at the time was an issue, so the way they cut it together sort of minimizes that a great deal. But if you still can kind of see it, watching it through a 2020 lens. But overall, again, the acting is fantastic.
Right.
Everybody's good in it.
Yeah, you root for everybody, you like everybody. There's not just one favorite character. You like everybody, which is unusual. I mean, it's a great cast ensemble film.
Yeah, it really is. And it's got some great old-timey actors like Harry Dean Stanton in a small role, who's always good in everything he did. Yaphet Kotto from the James Bond movie in the 70s.
Ian Holm.
That's right.
Tom Skerritt.
Tom Skerritt.
Yeah, very young Tom Skerritt.
Right. So a lot of good talent. Again, of course, Sigourney Weaver, which takes us to Aliens with an S, starring again Sigourney Weaver 7 years later. Now this time taken over by James Cameron as director. I believe he also helped write the script. A lot of the other people behind the scenes that worked on Alien continue to work on Aliens, so it's got a lot of the same sort of vibe and feel and look to the original movie, but a little bit different, less horror, more sci-fi, but still very scary and adventurous.
Yes.
Where they find, I guess, not a surprise, Ripley survives the first movie and she's in the second movie, and they find her, and it's years later. She's been asleep for like 50-some years.
Yeah.
And a guy named Burke, played by
Paul Reiser, who was really popular at the time in the TV sitcom Mad About You.
Right, and a stand-up comic, but he does a really good performance here as a corporate guy who sort of leads her into going back to the planet to help colonists that have now been living there for at least months.
Years.
Unknowing that there's alien nest right there in their midst. So she goes back and with a bunch of Marines to find out what's going on there at the colony, and they of course
have many adventures.
Yeah, they hence the title. They come across multiple aliens. I won't tell you how many, but multiple, not just one. This time there's many.
And again, we have a wonderful ensemble cast and very famous actors later on who started Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton, great. Bill Paxton's a young guy.
Oh, and the guy from Terminator,
Michael
who had
Biehn.
done Terminator, he's in this.
Right. He's a Cameron guy who's in a lot of Cameron's movies, and he's good. He's always good, I think.
Yeah.
And of course the little girl playing Newt is
yeah.
excellent for a child actress. She was
in this type of genre, that's sci-fi horror. She gives a great performance.
Yeah, because a role like that, it can ruin a movie, and she doesn't. She's really good. So the whole thing, again, it holds up really well. The future tech isn't so future-y anymore, but it's still pretty good for all these years later. It doesn't look hokey. The technology that they use and the weaponry and stuff that they have is still kind of futuristic. So kudos to them for all that for 30-some years ago. So again, holds up great. Great story, great action.
And what's wonderful that this is one of the best sequels to a movie.
Yes.
That's very rare.
Yes.
It's very rare to have a sequel that you want to watch over and over again as much as the original.
So there you have it. Alien and Aliens. We recommend both of them. We have them in our home library. We watch them occasionally, multiple. We've seen them many times. And they're worth seeing over and over and over again. So if you haven't seen them, check them out. If you have seen them, go find them and add them to your library if you don't already have them. And that's it for us from
The Movie House.
We'll see you next time. So long.